Our doors are always open.
Welcome to First Parish in Bedford, a Unitarian Universalist congregation where we come together every week as a people with diverse beliefs and a shared commitment to bring more peace, more love, even more love. Oh, there it goes. More justice and more joy into this world. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you worship one God, many gods, or no God, you are welcome here, as our choir just sang so beautifully. I want to say a special welcome to any of our visitors this morning, both in person and on Zoom. Here in the sanctuary, if you are newer and would like to get in touch, you can fill out a blue connection card found at the end of the pews and turn it into the ushers when the offering is collected, and we'll add you to our mailing list. On Zoom, you can use the link in the chat to fill out a similar card. And welcome this morning to our Pride service. We often have to combine our Pride service with our Bridging and Faith Development service or with our Flower Communion service. But thanks to having 5 whole Sundays in May this year, we get a special service just for Pride. Yeah. Little ones are welcome to head downstairs to our staffed nursery at any point, and also are totally welcome up here in our sanctuary. After the service, everyone is welcome to join for coffee, tea, and fellowship in the common room, which is just that way. And there will also be ice cream sundaes and opportunities to learn more about our committees and teams, which I know is everyone's favorite thing. And a couple of announcements that are all about next Sunday. It's a big day. It's Flower Communion, which is a ceremony that invites you to bring a flower or two. And it is also our annual meeting after worship. But it is also No Kings, and there will be a No Kings event on the sidewalk in front of the Common from 12:30 to 2. So sorry that you have to choose, but I don't know if you can do annual meeting and No Kings, but we hope that some do each because they're both good and important. We just need a quorum in the meeting. It's Flag Day, so bring a flag if you have one, and a sign too. It's Donald Trump's birthday and his caged fight on the White House lawn, so we'd like to offset that with something less violent and more hopeful. So come, join. and bring some singing as well. And also next Sunday, we will be having our 3rd annual Flower Express, where we package up bouquets from our flower communion service and we deliver them to homes of first parishioners who weren't able to get out, who maybe have a harder time accessing in-person church. It's a nice way to remind them that the community is with them and thinking of them. And we do need volunteers to sign up for the Flower Express, so please be on the lookout for the Sign Up Genius and sign up. My last note is that the quilt that you see behind our focal point, our beautiful rainbow quilt, was donated to our service today by Christine Dudley Marling, so thank you for that.
Our opening words this morning are a poem, The Pride Flame by Linda Lee Franson. We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens, the shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who stand on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed that they may find peace, for those who have fought to marry that they may celebrate, for those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame. Our opening hymn is Around. It's page 188. And it's Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And because it's around, it means I get to split you up. And so I'm going to make this very confusing for everyone, right? So it's 4 parts. We'll sing the entire thing together, and then we'll split into 4 and sing it twice more. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4, which includes the gallery. And look at all these singers up in the gallery, right? So yes?
What about broken your vows?
What about what?
Have you broken your vows 1,000 times?
I have no idea what you're talking.
Yeah, not today, but thank you.
Oh, right. I have.
It's just another part that we sometimes do.
Oh, okay.
So,
I've never done it, so I can't lead that. Sorry about that. Okay. So in any case, please stand in body or spirit, and again, let's sing it once through, then we'll break up and sing it twice more.
Blessed Are the Queer by Helen H.P. Rivers. Blessed are the wanderers seeking affirmation. Blessed are the worshipers praying from closets, pulpits, pews, and hardship. Blessed are the lovers of leaving family and familiarity, leaving tables where love is not being served. Blessed are those who stay. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the queer disciples of truth, living, breathing, sacred reflections of divine love. And now, please rise as you are able and join us in our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Este es nuestro gran pacto, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en espíritu de amor, y ayudamos los unos y los otros.
And you know what? There was one more announcement that was about today that I forgot. And it's about something exciting happening in Transylvania today that impacts our partner church in Abishvalva. And Sharon is going to tell us a little more about it. And we're going to toll the bell.
Good morning. You know we have a partner church, brothers and sisters in Transylvania, in Abashvalva, Transylvania. They are having an amazing day. This is the day of the installation of their new minister. They are doing it, yes. They are doing it at this moment. They're 7 hours ahead of us, but at this moment, they are doing it. I sent them a message. John Gibbons sent them a message. Jamie sent them a message. My message was Lelki Pazotori Bektatash. Blessed be Google Translate. Dear friends, the installation of your minister, what a wonderful occasion. Your partners in Bedford share your joy, and we will ring our church bell so loudly that you will hear it clear across the ocean. Do you hear it?
Good morning. Oh, it's in order now. It wasn't in order before. It's going to get a bit experimental, but it's now figured out. Okay, so today's story is about a zebra, like many great stories. There once was a zebra named Zed, Z-E-D, with one very crooked stripe down his head. It zigged and it zagged, it drooped and it sagged, like a shoelace that slipped from its thread. The other young zebras would stare. That's not how a stripe should look there. It's bendy, it's strange, you should probably change. If I were you, I'd be terribly scared. So Zed took a ruler to bed, and he measured his stripe while he read. And then he began to stretch it and press it and pinch it and dress it, but it wiggled right back up instead. He scrubbed it with soap in a tub. He polished and buffed it and rubbed, but the stripe wouldn't straighten. It simply kept stating, I'm happy exactly as I am. Well, one morning, he wandered away, quite tired of all the fixing all day. He trotted up a hill and sat very still and watched all the other creatures play. He saw a gazelle with one floppy ear, a crow with a voice harsh to hear, a turtle named May who moved slower each day, but each wore their difference with cheer. "Well, how do you do it?" asked Zed. "How do you not hide?" he said. The turtle smiled wide. "Well, we already tried, but like being ourselves instead." Well, Zed thought for a moment or two, then suddenly something felt true. The stripe wasn't wrong. It had been fine all along. It was a natural thing for it to do. So when the zebras all say, "Your stripes bend the oddest way," Zed grins and replies, "To your great surprise, that's exactly how mine likes to stay." And somehow that crooked old stripe that never was tidy or right became Zed's favorite part, the map of his heart, and he wore it with the purest delight. Man, I love zebras. It's good. Okay, now it's time for us to sing our children to class.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. There you go. Good morning. My name is Marge Heckman. I'm a member of the lay pastoral team here at First Parish. At this time in the service, we invite anyone who would like to come forward and light a candle of joy or concern to do so. And then we will check in with those on Zoom, and I will be at the candle stand after the service if anyone would like to light a candle in private. Please tell us your name and keep your comments brief if you can. Carl. And I'll light one last candle for all the joys and concerns that we keep in our hearts. And I will be here at the candle stand after the service.
The Braver Wiser series is a weekly Unitarian Universalist Association series providing a message of courage and compassion for life as it is. The following reading is woven together from 3 different Braver Wiser pieces, all written by queer Unitarian Universalists. They are titled Totes Queer by Paige Getty, Queering Me by Vanessa Taitang, and Queerly Beloved by Karishma Gottfried.
I never perceived myself as queer. Growing up, what little I learned from my elders about being gay was the term queer was a bad word. It was a hateful word, along with specific other derogatory terms which I dared never to utter. I aimed to do no harm, and thus that word was off limits. And why would I personally ever need to use it?
I've had conversations with LGBT elders about the word queer. Not everyone uses it. Some have too many memories of it being used as a weapon against them to have it sit right with their soul. My middle school counselor hated the word because for him, queer meant strange and odd.
In our family, a lesbian relationship is unremarkable. We're very queer.
Reclaiming words from oppressors was something my LGBTQ plus friends were doing. Queer. I first felt it was a hard pill to swallow to call myself. Did it even apply to me? A biracial, African-American, disabled, and bisexual woman? There were layers to deconstruct to understand being comfortable with claiming a word steeped in hate. Strange
And odd is still the first definition that comes up when you Google queer. But for me, a mixed race person of color, a gender expansive relationship anarchist, and of course, a Unitarian Universalist, queer is the perfect word not just to describe my sexuality, but every part of me and what I embody.
Here's the thing, we don't look queer, not from the outside. I'm in my early 50s and have been out since my mid-20s, having first claimed the label bisexual, though pansexual or queer fits better now. I've only ever had 2 serious romantic relationships. The first was with a woman, and I'm married to the second, who would tell you himself that he is also not straight.
Maybe I didn't get queer because I wasn't there yet on my journey of discovery. In community and coming to know and appreciate others, I learned to know and appreciate myself.
As I've studied queer theology in seminary, I've actually become more and more convinced that Unitarian Universalism itself is a queer faith. Defined not by a creed passed down through generations, but by the real-world commitments we make to each other in the present.
My queerness is about more than who I'm actively involved with, romantically or sexually. It's about mindset and attitude and intention. It's experienced in the private world of imagination and fantasy, as well as in the lived experience of relationship. It's in the rejection of waspy gender norms and in the deliberate choice not to assume or pressure a particular form of romantic relationship in the lives of the children I'm privileged to raise.
Queer challenges the status quo. It dares me to be authentically myself, whether meaning odd, outside the scope of heteronormative sexuality or gender. It fits me. It's empowering to take back this word. I am proudly part of the LGBTQ plus community. I am queer.
Unitarian Universalism queers the idea of theology itself, not requiring the theos, God, to do the logos talk. Our God talk includes the atheists, agnostics, polytheists, and all those who endeavor to engage in the search for truth and meaning.
Here at First Parish, we are fond of saying that the church has left the building, and we are not immodest in saying that we do live that philosophy. Our pledges and weekly offerings contribute in part to that exodus. On the first Sunday of each month, one way that the church leaves the building is in the sharing of half of our offering with an organization nominated by someone in our community and then chosen by the Social Responsibility Council. This month, we are sharing the plate with Lawyers for Civil Rights. To tell us a bit about their work, we have Victoria Miranda with us this morning. She joined Lawyers for Civil Rights in 2025 as a senior attorney. An accomplished litigator, Victoria advocates for civil rights on behalf of people of color, immigrants, and low-income communities. Victoria has extensive expertise in Native American law, having represented the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, of which she is a proud member. She has been recognized as a rising star super lawyer and received the National Black Lawyers Association's prestigious 40 Under 40 Award in 2024. Victoria holds a BA from Howard University and a JD from Temple University. As always, your generosity is gratefully received. And now, Victoria, would you join us?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. This has been a beautiful service so far. It's a different way to spend my Sunday for work day, but I appreciate being here with you all. And just the energy that you all have carried within this room, I can feel it, and it's great. My name is Victoria Miranda, and thanks for the great intro. I am a senior attorney at Lawyers for Civil Rights. And Lawyers for Civil Rights has been existing for over 50 years now. And what we do is fight for civil rights. It's pretty much in the name, as you can tell. And so what we do is we're a team of attorneys as well as community activists who basically what we do is community litigation and impact litigation. And what we try to do is use the law in a way that protects people and protects their basic needs and their basic rights. So what we focus on, we do immigrant rights, we do education rights, we do employment rights, we do housing rights, we also do small business work, as well as employment, sorry, I'm missing all the different groups, pretty much every single facet of your lives that is affected. And whether that means going after the administration, whether that means going after the state, whether that means protecting a child who's being bullied because of the color of their skin and going after their school. For us, what's important is to make an impact, to make sure that we have a community that the law protects, to make sure that everybody in this community knows that they have rights that are worthy of being protected and that we all deserve that. And so for me, I just spoke earlier that this has literally been one of my favorite jobs to ever have, because it's not like I'm just going into court to be a lawyer and fight with people. I'm advocating for people. I'm able to truly make sure that everyone matters and that the work that we're doing is a thankless job sometimes, but it's also a lot of work that I truly love doing and I think that the team loves doing. Right now we have some pending litigation, particularly in the area of immigrant rights. We are advocating, we do a lot of Know Your Rights forums to teach people about what to do and how to do if you encounter ICE. We also have particular cases defending a mother who was attacked on her way to church on Mother's Day. And we have a case for that when she was attacked by ICE and her family. We have other cases where people did have the proper status and still were taken and imprisoned, and we're fighting ICE and the government for that. We also have cases pending right now to try to fight segregation within the schools in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, Massachusetts does have a high rate of segregated schools where Black and brown children are not given the same access to education as others. And so we take those types of issues, we dive in and we use our skills as much as possible to advocate, whether that be in the courtroom, whether that be legislatively or wherever we can kind of put our feet in. And the work, thankfully, because of donations and grants and things of that nature, we're able to do everything pro bono for all of our clients. So at a time when people think that money is a barrier to protecting what you deserve and the rights you deserve, we come in and help that too. So I thank you for having me. I thank you all for even considering Lawyers for Civil Rights today. It's a great thing, and it's good to know that there are people here that still care. And it's good to know that we have a community, regardless of what you look like, regardless of where you came from, that we can all come together and do our part to make a change, to make it so we have a community, we have a country that is caring, that is forgiving, and that is welcoming. So again, I thank you all. I thank you all for considering us. I thank you all for having me, and I look forward to the rest of the service. Thank you.
I started keeping a diary on my 12th birthday. It was a book that was purple and had different pictures of moons and suns on the cover. I was very into celestial themes and the color purple. And I kept a diary pretty regularly all throughout my adolescence and teen years. And in the classic fashion of a teen girl, I wrote about all my crushes on boys. But in the perhaps less classic fashion, I also wrote about something I called fascinations. Now, what is a fascination, you might wonder? Well, it's when you're just really fixated on someone, and you tend to write down like every interaction you had with that person and what they said and what they wore and when you're going to see them again. And it was just coincidental that all these fascinations happened to be with girls. Now, I was raised Unitarian Universalist, and I did take About Your Sexuality, which is the precursor to OWL. So I should have maybe known better, but let me tell you, I was clueless as a teen. How clueless, you may ask? Well, I will tell you. The main crush of my entire junior high and high school experience was a boy who was very smart, a good friend of mine. He did theater and music with me, and all his friends were girls, and he really, really loved Mariah Carey. But I really thought that the reason that he seemed totally uninterested in me, even when we were dating, was because there was just something inherently wrong with me, and not because he just only liked boys. So my clueless self genuinely and earnestly wrote about my crushes on boys and my fascinations with girls, and did not think that made me anything but straight. Eventually, I did figure it out. When I was 19, I finally told 2 people that I had fallen in love with one of my good friends, another classic teen high school queer experience. I told one friend who had already come out as a lesbian in high school, and I also told the only other student at my boarding school who publicly identified as bisexual. The thing is, I didn't need to keep the people I told to that limited of a crew. As I said, I was raised UU, and my family was very supportive and accepting. They were very positive towards other gay and lesbian people we knew. And while I did have a cadre of pretty conservative friends in high school, the friends I was making in boarding school and in college were very liberal and open-minded. But I just didn't really want to be different. I didn't really feel sure of who I was, and it was easier to go with society's flow. Society's flow got me 2 college boyfriends that lots of people knew about, and 1 college girlfriend who I dated for a shorter time, though that did lead to me finally coming out to my parents, which I probably did in a very flippant manner with a tone of like, ugh, how do you not know this already, even though I had never told them. Going with society's flow got me married at age 28 and having my amazing kiddo Moira at age 29, which was late by my Christian Central Illinois friend standards and early by my Boston leftist friend standards. You can't conform to them all. By then, I had embraced more fully a queer identity. I had joined the queer student group in my seminary. I had taken queer ethics and done a whole paper on the comic strip Dykes to Watch Out For by Alison Bechdel. I was queer in my heart, and I was also doing a pretty good job of conforming to the expectations of the heteropatriarchy. Getting married, having a baby, shaving my legs, consistently underestimating myself professionally, saying sorry a whole lot. Which, to be clear, is not all bad. I only regret the legal marriage because of the paperwork that it took to undo it. It's really, Massachusetts divorce laws, boy, you have to do a lot of tedious paperwork, and I am not cut out for that. But I don't at all regret the years I spent with Lucas, and I am deeply grateful every day for Moira's existence that brings so much to my life in this world. My point is just that even when you have literally studied queer theory, it can be hard to parse out what is authentic desire, if such a thing exists, and what is society's expectations and the scripts that are gently writing your life. And so I have deep gratitude and honestly a sense of awe for those who did not take the easy way. The only reason I can stand here and preach to you about queerness is because of so many queer ancestors, including those who would have never used the word queer, who came before and fought, sometimes literally fought, like at Stonewall, for their lives and their love, for their rights and their relationships. People who were cast out of their families, blacklisted, bullied, assaulted, arrested, harassed, fired, and mocked. People who watched their loved ones die terrifying and ostracized deaths. People who had no legal rights to be with their own partners when they died. People who came out because they simply couldn't be another way. And people who came out because they were brave and wanted a better world. And people who didn't even mean to come out but were found out or pulled out of the closet by a lover. People who were killed for who they were. People who survived and are our queer elders today. Even people in my generation had a much tougher time than I did in some situations, like my partner Tara, who endured bullying that was pretty intense when they came out as a lesbian as a teen. So as a white cis queer woman who took a gentle path of little resistance, I am grateful for those who took much greater risk to live their lives more fully. I moved down paths that you cleared. And it's tempting to say, and now I'm a fully realized queer, living my fully authentic life with my non-binary partner and my non-traditional multifamily household. Because it is very tempting to believe that there is some authentic, true, deep self inside us. And if we only cast off enough of society's expectations, we can find it. And if we're brave enough, we can let it shine. So much of the storytelling and rhetoric around queer and trans identity pushes us in that direction. The argument that we were born this way, it makes sense when the enemies are saying you chose this and you should unchoose it. The fact that we seek proof, to prove, like the way I look in my diary to say, oh yes, see, I wrote about those fascinations. I was queer the whole time. I can tell. It's one coherent story that is authentic. But the thing is, identities change. And after my separation with Lucas, I did a bunch of online dating. And I started to notice that when I would go on dates with men, even men who I thought were very attractive and interesting and funny, I just was not feeling a romantic attraction. And I started to wonder, am I gay now? Or whatever label you use when you like all the genders except men? Around that same time, Lucas, my ex, had come out as non-binary, and I thought, is this further proof I never married a man after all? Aha! But the thing is, it doesn't really matter. In preparing this sermon, I found a very academic blog post from 2013 that was written by an author only identified as Chrissy. Chrissy wrote, although most mainstream LGBT politics subscribe to the rhetoric of being born this way, most queer theory deconstructs the naturalness of any sexuality, gay or straight or otherwise. In other words, there is no natural, authentic sexuality for anyone. Not for straights, not for gays, we're all just humans with bodies and desires who fall in love and create families, and we're all doing it in ways that are deeply influenced by culture and by material conditions, and we can't fully see the water we're swimming in, so we're just doing our best. And that's great. I think this is liberating because it means there's no right way to be queer. So if you have ever felt like you weren't a legitimate queer person or the right kind of trans person because your story didn't fit neatly into a compelling, born this way story, you're still valid. If you don't seem like or look like what people expect a gay or lesbian or trans person or a non-binary person to look like, you're still valid. If you came out later in life, or you're still finding your way or have shifted what labels you use, that's valid. And if you haven't come out, and you know inside you that there's some queerness in you yet, that's valid. The cool thing is you can apply this framework outside of the realms of gender and sexuality, and people have. Last year, I read a book called Neuroqueer Heresies by Nick Walker. I wasn't sure what the book would be, but I was too intrigued by the title not to read it, or rather listen to it, as I consume most of my books. And it ended up being sort of an autistic pride book, a collection of essays that were pushing back against the idea that autism was an unfortunate or scary condition, a disease that people unfortunately had. And it sort of reminded me of the way people have pushed back against the Born This Way story, to say, well, it's not just that, like, oh, unfortunately we're gay and we can't help it. It's like, no, it's great. It's great to be queer. It's great to be autistic. And I know that in our society, it is not always great. For a trans kid in a red state in the US right now, it's really scary. It's really not great. For autistic kids who have anti-vax parents who want to abuse the autism out of them, really not great. And we know that society can be hard for anybody who pushes the boundaries of normalcy, especially right now in this time of intense fascist politics. But the inherent reality of just being queer or being autistic, that's just a beautiful part of human diversity. It's probably not that surprising that the girl who decided that her girl crushes were just fascinations because obviously you can't have crushes on girls, spent years thinking that she was just a bit silly and forgetful, just a procrastinator, maybe a lot more than most of her peers, but never fully alone in pulling all-nighters in the library. That the reason she read novels or wrote poetry or theological treatises or inside joke comic strips during class was just because she was smart and she didn't need to pay attention, not because paying attention was really freaking hard. Of course, I was normal. I literally grew up in Normal. I grew up in Normal, Illinois, for anyone who doesn't know why I said that. The first time a coworker asked if I had ADHD, it was 2015. And when I was like, no, oh, sorry, I'm not great with details, she quickly said, oh, well, it's just because I do. I mean, it's not anything bad. I just wondered, because I do, and I just thought maybe you did. And then there was another coworker whose husband was ADHD, and she said, you know, you really, really have a lot of traits that are a lot like my husband who has ADHD. But the thing is, everyone and their mother had ADHD all of a sudden. It was all the TikTok influencers' fault. Except I was watching some of those influencers, and honestly, they had some really good tips that were extremely helpful. It wasn't till I was on sabbatical, and I took away the full-time job and a bunch of my organizing work that I realized, oh, wait, maybe the unmanageability of my life really is an internal problem if life is still unmanageable. And with some great support from my partner and my best friend, I made an appointment with a psychiatrist because my PCP told me it was not worth going through all the hoops to get the official formal evaluation. I got some atomoxetine, and I began to work on the story I had about myself, that I was just a screw-up who was constantly disappointing everyone. And I began trying to have patience with myself when I forgot something again, when I was extremely unrealistic about time again, when I interrupted someone again, when I made the worship slides wrong again. Yes, I know, there was no singing the children out slide this time. I am tracking that. And still, sometimes I wonder, do I really have ADHD, or have I just fallen for the internet hype? And then I decide it doesn't matter, because it's all invented. Just like there's no natural sexuality, there's no natural neurotype either. Sexuality is complicated and diverse. We call it a spectrum for a reason. Brains are complicated and diverse. We call it a spectrum for a reason. And we live in a society with a lot of expectations and ideas about how we should be. If ADHD meds and tips help me, then great. I don't have to find my one true authentic neurotype any more than I have to find my one true sexual orientation. A 2025 article in Psychology Today titled "The Link Between Neurodivergence and the LGBTQ+ Population" had the subtitle, "The neurodivergent community is much more likely to identify as LGBTQ+. This article says it's estimated that anywhere from 30 to 70% of those who are neurodivergent are also part of the LGBTQIA+ communities, with the greatest overlap being found within the autistic community. There hasn't been enough research to show an evidence-based reason why, but there's a theory that brains that are already wired in ways that make society's norms confusing or difficult are less likely to be constrained by them when it comes to gender and sexuality. In other words, queerness begets queerness. Once you start to realize that nothing is normal, then nothing is normal. And I love that, because queerness benefits all of us, even those of us who are straight and cisgender and neurotypical. I know you're out there, and you are valid too. And plus, as Karishma Gottfried pointed out in our readings, Unitarian Universalism is theologically queer, so you get to be a little queer too anyway. And we need that right now, because there are people with a lot of money and a lot of power who know it benefits them to enforce patriarchy and ableism with as much rigidity and punitive vitriol as possible. And there are many people, including good people, who get swept up in this rhetoric and join the forces trying to criminalize being trans or parenting trans kids supportively, trying to take away the rights of same-sex couples, trying to take away mental health medicine, using cruelty and mockery to bully anyone who is queer in any way, whether gender, sexuality, neurotype, or anything else. Here in eastern Massachusetts, we are relatively protected from the worst of it, and yet we still see the harms even here. And this is why it is a beautiful thing to choose to be queer. In big ways and small ways, in whatever way feels right and good to you. Whether it means a rainbow sparkle drag outfit or simply wearing a slightly more colorful shirt. Whether that means telling everyone at work your new pronouns or just telling a couple close friends that you're actually bi despite your straight-seeming marriage. Whether that means modeling a softer, more connected, more vulnerable form of masculinity as a man, or modeling an assertive, no-nonsense femininity as a woman. Whether it means taking a fidget toy for yourself to use at work, even though you're a professional grown-up adult, or unapologetically sharing your access needs at the next committee meeting. And for all of us, it means supporting our young people who are embracing queerness and neurodivergence in big society-changing ways on the whole, and who are also experiencing cyberbullying and the influence of the manosphere and scary numbers of boys taking a hard right towards old-school patriarchy. So it means celebrating our young people for who they are, whoever they are, letting them experiment with their identities, offering care and support for access needs, and intervening with love and curiosity if we see them starting to bully anyone or police the gender expression or any other aspect of someone else. There is a whole lot that we are up against, and it will take a lot of hard work and organizing to build the world that we need. On Thursday, I went to a Boston City Council meeting to testify against the BRIC, the Boston Regional Intelligence Center. It is a fusion center that shares data between local police and FBI and the Department of Homeland Security in ways that negatively impact especially Black and brown people and immigrants and Muslims. And when I was there, I met a group I had never met before. When I first walked up, I saw that there was a lot of older white women there, and I thought, oh, that's not exactly who I expected at this thing, but that's great. And then I noticed a lot of them had short hair and very practical clothes. And I thought, that's great too. And then I noticed that they had big buttons on that said, "Old Dykes against billionaire tech bros." Can I get a slide? Can I get a slide? And they had these hot pink stickers, these hot pink anti-brick stickers, and you can follow them on Instagram at old_dykes. I was so delighted by this group, by the queerness they brought to this powerful and important work. Because a tedious city council meeting is just a little better with hot pink stickers. We are up against a lot, and for now, it does seem like a society where everyone gets what they need and feels safe and accepted is maybe a dream just over the rainbow. But I think we can get there. And life, whether we are fighting to save democracy from tech bro billionaires, or whether we're juggling work and parenting and social life and volunteer obligations, or any other number of things, life is just a little bit better when we are more fully ourselves, less ashamed of the ways we color outside the lines. Life is just a little bit better when we choose, in whatever way it works for us authentically, to be queer. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join in our closing hymn, which is Over the Rainbow. The words will be on our slide. Ben is going to sing the first verse and the chorus, and Brad will tell us when to come in. Just follow Brad and you'll be great.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? Somewhere
So when I got here this morning, someone said, "Oh, nice tie." So I got this tie at a pride shop in Salisbury, England. And I got my bracelet at Pride in Munich, Germany. And I got my earring at a craft show that followed the first ever Pride in Upper New Hampshire last year. Littleton, New Hampshire. And then, if that doesn't complete the ensemble with the colorful shirt, right? I have a pair of socks that Cynthia Mork bought me, right? And I have a pair of shoes that Ben bought for himself, but they didn't fit, so he gave them to me. They have nothing on Dorothy. And I got the fan at Royal Albert Hall in England. Our closing words are Rainbow Blessing by Cricket Hall. May the drag stage rise to meet you. May the world rise to accept and embrace you. May the rainbow of love enfold you. May your fluidity never be hindered. May your pronouns always be supported and your dead name forgotten. May those you invite into your life remain loyal. May your chosen family lift you up and catch you when you need it. May you be able to catch others when they need it. May you remember sensitivity is not weakness, but instead a great strength welling up inside you. And until we meet again, may you remember that you are loved and you are divine.